Good YouTube, Quinn Wade coming to you with that hot topic analysis on the Chicago Bulls again. This time it's not the Vucevic trade; it's another one. Um, they ended up trading. Well, I would say the Chicago Bulls have traded for Jaden Ivey and Mike Conley Jr. in a three-team trade with the Detroit Pistons and the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Pistons will get Kevin Huerter and Dario Saric, who they just got in another trade, along with a 2026 first round protected swap from the Wolves. Ivy becomes a pre-free agent candidate for the Bulls after he was unable to agree to a contract extension with the Pistons in October. We all know that Jaden Ivey had a major injury, and the Pistons basically was cautious because they didn't know how he would come back, how he would look. And you know what? To be honest, I don't really blame them for that, because you don't want to get stuck contract wise when you're still trying to win with Cade. Um, and Jaden Ivey wasn't really the perfect fit when they drafted him anyway in 2022. And on the Pistons, he still gave you 8.2 points in 16 minutes. That's really good scoring, and that's really good value for a guy that doesn't play a lot and get a lot of opportunities. He did shoot 45% from the field and 37% from three. The last 2 years, he shot good from three, showing you a little bit of improvement. Obviously, he can drive and he can also pass a little bit, but he hasn't really turned into the greatest playmaker. He never really was. He was more of a scoring guard and a penetrating guard than a guy that's trying to set up his teammates. But he also showed that he can catch and shoot a little bit and score off the dribble. That's always good to have, especially at a young age with more potential. And all you can really ask for him to do is be healthy in the future. I know the injuries that he got was out of his control, honestly. So it's part of the game. It's how the game is, unfortunately. But he has, a chance to be better. He has a chance to do more for a team that needs him to. And then you look at Kevin Huerter, he's giving you double figures in points, which is 10. He shot 45% from the field. He's 6'6", 198, and he's 27. Some people think he's older than that because he's been in the league for a long time. So I don't really blame him for feeling that way when you hear his name. But he's only 27. He did shoot 31% from three. He is going to have to improve that because when you think about Kevin Huerter, you think about the ability to shoot, because he's also shooting 73% from the free throw line, which isn't that great. He is a decent passer for his size in his position. He's a decent rebounder, 3.8 rebounds per game, 2.6 assists per game. And he also is a guy that gets rid of the ball early, so you don't really have to worry about the ball sticking with him. He knows his role. He knows what he needs to accept. He knows what he needs to do on the teams that he's on. I think Ivy wants to prove himself more. While Kevin Huerter, he's fine with the player that he is. He just needs to get back to shooting better at three. And if he does that, he can continue to stay in the league, because that's something that every team is going to want and need. And that's why you see Ivy put in a lot of work to improve his scoring from mid-range and from three. Now he just needs to stay healthy so he can continue to grow and mature and evolve as a player, which he was showing with the Pistons. The Bulls have Kobe White and Ayo Dosunmu as unrestricted free agents this offseason, as he also is a trade candidate at the deadline with potential fits concerns with Josh Giddey, who loves to have the ball in his hands because he can run the offense and make plays and also score by getting to the basket or to the free throw line. And on top of that, the Wolves receive significant luxury tax savings with the maneuver, as it will drop from $24 million to $3.8 million, which is really, really good. This is a deal that I don't really blame them for doing. Minnesota will also drop below the first apron with the transaction. That's a goal that most teams are trying to do if they can find a move that still makes sense to keep them competitive while also saving money. That's something that they was able to do with this transaction. Detroit had a need for an additional three-point shooter as they look to further their success in their regular season into the playoffs. They probably needed a bigger move. I don't really think this move helps them that much because I do feel like Jaden Ivey is that good. Obviously, Mike Conley Jr. is not going to stick around. He hasn't really played that well because he is older and he doesn't even score basically every game. He might score every couple games, not every single game. And that's not something that you're going to be in a rush to keep or have. But he can be a good mentor. He can be a good guy to have on your roster because he understands the game. He's a good teammate. He's still a good mind for the game of basketball, and all of that makes sense, But at the same time, I'm not really trying to pay you for that when the second apron tax problems are all over the NBA this season, and that's why you haven't really seen any big moves. The biggest move probably is the Vucevic trade when it comes to name, but even he's in his mid-30s now. He's no longer the same player that he used to be, even though he's still a quality player in the league. But the Bulls making a lot of moves. They're committed to trying to be a playoff team this year, but they're also looking at it like we got to try to find a way to keep this team competitive and also keep it young, but also have enough to compete, at a high level. And that's what the Bulls been trying to do for years. They don't want to suck. They don't want to tank. They want to go out there and try to give the Chicago Bulls in the city of Chicago a good show. And that's going to cost you. Obviously, that's why they might move Kobe White. That's why they might try to go in a different direction like they've been trying to do. And I feel like Vucevic only really got traded because of Jalen Smith. He's just been playing that much better and that good for them that it made sense for him to get more opportunity and more minutes because his contract is so cheap and it allows them to make that move for that reason because he can shoot, he can finish real well, and he can protect the rim. And that's something that they need to invest more time in, and he's younger by 10 years. But other than that, good move by everybody. Everybody has their reasons why this move made sense. And, some of the moves don't make sense other than business purposes anyway. We see more of those moves now than we seen 10 years ago. 10 years ago, everybody was trying to get the star. Everybody was trying to get a high pick. The rules done changed. The aprons done added more, cautiousness to the teams and what they're trying to do and how they're trying to go about things. And there's nothing that you can really do but try to play by the rules to be able to win by the rules because they're going to enforce them. You know what I mean? So it is getting harder and tougher to keep talent. It is getting harder and tougher to get stars. And when you do, they make so much money, it's hard to get off of them. And when you do, you're going back to a rebuilding team anyway. Back then, you try to get one star and another one. And we've seen a lot of teams do that easily back 10 to even 7 to 8 years ago. But with the new changes, it's harder and it's tougher to do that. And now players are looking for their money anyway. If they're getting drafted number one, they're already looking to play good enough to get that max extension. Then you already got to find another way to keep them competitive or they're going to want to leave. I ain't winning no rings. I'm not really playing in the playoffs. I don't really see a purpose of even playing for this team. And now you got to trade your star all over again and try to get another one to try to build around them. And hopefully they stay hungry and loyal and, be better than the other one. So, teams are finding it tough and hard like it always has been to win NBA championships. And we haven't seen the dynasty yet in this decade. Obviously, OKC has the best chance to be one, but even they're having their struggles. And there's a lot of young teams that's giving them a challenge, including a veteran team like Denver, to be able to win. So the Bulls, they got a lot of things going against them. The Pistons do too. They're a young team that a lot of people see. They're doing a lot of things right. They're doing a lot of things that are impressive, but they still got to prove it in the playoffs. They still got to show what they can really be about when it matters the most, and that's what they're trying to do while also trying to stay, a team that can make another move, that can possibly give them a player that can get them over the top and be a potential championship caliber move. And I think that move is not out there since Jaren Jackson ended up getting traded, to Jazz because a lot of people thought Lauri Markkanen was that guy. And then people thought Trey Murphy would be that guy, but why would we want to trade him? And then, about Michael Porter Jr., why would we want to trade him when you're not really giving us anything of significant value, especially since Jaden Ivey is gone now? So there's a lot of things to think about. There's a lot of things to try to figure out if you're a GM, if you're a fan, and it can be nerve wracking because of the rules and because of how things are in place, and because of how how tough it is to get talent and get talent to want to stay because anything can happen just like in the real world, and you have to take it on the chin sometimes, and then that can just put your franchise back 3 to 5 years, and that's a long time in the NBA because even if you get the star, you have to build around the star, and once you do that, you're committed to it, and if either that wins or it doesn't, you got to start all over again anyway. Just a simple way of saying it. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell to get that analysis when it first come out. Y'all stay blessed up. Y'all stay good. Peace. And I'll see y'all later today, hopefully with more analysis.